doing well. Welcome back to a little agency therapy. We're jamming today. The messaging that we're seeing on social media nowadays, it's all very lead generation focused. Do you feel like we're going to see kind of the shift or swing back the other direction?
No.
Free resources, lead magnets. The list is endless. Oh, it did flip. Yo, what's up, team? Hope you guys are crushing the week so far. Happy Wednesday. Happy Agency Therapy Day. Stoked to be here. Stoked to be back in action. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. We have some stuff to jam on today. A little agency therapy coming at you live. So excited to jam today on a bunch of different stuff. We won't be doing a marketing mayhem today, but let's go through a quick agenda. I don't know why my share screen wasn't pulled up for some reason. Give me 2 seconds. Got to do that. All right. Actually. All right. Let's pull up the agenda for the day. Let's take a peek. All right, team. This is what we're going to be covering today. We got a couple new segments. I didn't title that segment for some reason. I don't know why. But we're going to be doing a little market leader positioning review, which I'm excited for. So hence the title of the stream today. But we got some agencies that we're going to be putting under the gun today for some market leader positioning, going through some of their positioning, what's great, what could be changed, what could be better, and all that good stuff. So we'll be talking about some positioning today, which I'm excited for. It's one of my favorite topics because I think positioning is crucial for any growth of an agency or any establishment of an agency. We're bringing the Guru Gauntlet back today, which I'm stoked on. We got some SMMA gurus going through the gauntlet, which I'm stoked on. Got some young guns in there. There's one that has a guru tier list that I didn't make. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't make it, unfortunately. Not good enough to be on the guru tier list quite yet. But some of my buddies are on there, so I'm excited to jump into that one. Answering my cold DMs nicely. That was a fun segment last week, so we're gonna bring that back. And then we have a little agency alchemy at the end, continuing on our path of systemization, SOP storage, and wiki creation. So excited to jump into that one at the end. And then if you guys stay to the end, I'll of course give you the template for that as well. So let's go ahead and jump in. No marketing mayhem today, guys. Just, I don't know, there's no storylines that were like extremely interesting to me. And so I didn't do one. So we're going to do a couple new ones today. I'm going to be doing a little positioning workshop here. But yeah, that's basically what we're going to be jamming on today. Hopefully that's cool with you guys. If you're here, drop a little comment in the chat. We'd love to know that you guys are here jamming along with us today. Do about like an hour and a half probably today on the stream. But jumping into the positioning side first, that's where we're going to be focused on first today, is just the positioning side. And if you guys remember, anytime that I've ever talked about positioning, and it's usually just more involved than just writing on a document, really this is your guys' thought process behind what your agency or what your business specifically stands for. And this is what we consider like, hey, how do we stand out to potential clients? How do we make sure that we differentiate ourselves from competitors? And I don't think enough time is spent here as far as like when it comes to kind of thinking about the strategy and positioning of your business. And positioning is about crafting something unique and compelling and have a brand identity that is really going to set yourself apart from any other agency in the space. Because here's the thing, agencies are getting commoditized every single day. There's so many new ones coming on the map. And so a lot of them are speaking the same language. And so we need to be able to attract the right clients, give you more control over your client agreements. And we do this specifically through positioning. Now, why is this important exactly? Well, positioning helps you guys and your agency define its unique value proposition, right? It's really key differentiators in the minds of clients, right? So we have to tap into the minds of our clients, and this is going to help our agency stand out from the crowd. Okay, we want to have an expertise in something. We don't want to be in the same lane as everybody else, right? Because when we're in the same lane as everybody else, we become a commodity. And so for that to happen, we need to put some work into this. And when you become highly specialized and when you have the positioning really dialed in, it's going to allow you, one, to name your price, but also not have to compete on price. Okay. So it's going to let you name your price, and it's going to make it to where you don't have to compete on price. And so how can we position our agency exactly? And we'll look at some agency positioning here in a second, some people that do it really well and some people that don't do it as well. We'll give some feedback on that. But essentially, to position your agency effectively, one, you need to develop a clear and compelling unique selling proposition. We call these like a USP that is really going to convey the benefits, values of working alongside your agency services while also being clear about what you do. Right. So of course, we want to talk about the benefits of working with us, but there has to be an understanding of, hey, what is it that we do? Also, in some cases, best way to arrive at a USP is to define what you do, not, I'm sorry. The best way to arrive at your USP is to define what you do, not do. Uh, I don't know why I'm blanking on this. Sorry. The best way that we can define our USP is what you do, not to kind of get the clarity on specifically w- what you do, right? So we'll talk a little bit more in depth, but basically the way that we're going to best arrive at this is kind of defining what we do on a regular basis, be able to put some sort of compelling proposition behind it. Sorry, I don't know why, complete brain fart there on explaining that. Okay. So how can we find our USP a little bit more clearly here? Well, one, your USP comes at down to the intersection of a few things, right? What your customers specifically want, what you guys can do well as an agency while avoiding what your competitors do well. Okay. And what you don't do well. So those are how we start crafting a compelling, unique selling proposition. And we want to make a list of the following things. One, what do our customers actually want? Okay. So, no, having a crystal clear picture of this in your avatar and their beliefs, desires, struggles makes this much more powerful. So, if you've never done like avatar work before, and I think previous agency therapies we've talked about like building out strong avatars. We don't want it to be watered down or like very broad. We want it to be very specific, and some helpful questions that you might want to ask while distilling down what your customers specifically want is, what problems do they need solved? What are the emotions these problems cause them to feel? And then what stopped them from already solving those problems in the past? So, some questions that might be helpful for you guys in distilling down what your unique selling proposition is and what your customers actually want from you. Those questions would be pivotal. Now, the second piece of this is, what do you do well? Because if you don't do certain things well and you're selling it, then you're probably not going to be able to build a very successful business. And so we call this our zone of genius, right? And some helpful questions around this is, what do you do better than anyone else in your marketplace, or just as well as anyone in your marketplace? What can you do in your sleep that is highly valuable? And then the last one, what do you outlearn everyone else on? And where does your attention naturally go? And if you guys are really good at something specific, then we should lean into that zone of genius, because you're going to separate yourself just by your depth of knowledge in that certain area, right? So if you're really great at creative, awesome. Let's lean into creative and make sure that you're better than your competitors. And then lastly, what do your competitors do well? Okay. If you just answered the first two questions, we likely end up with some similar answers to our competitors, right? And so making an end result a ununique selling proposition. Okay. And so we want a unique selling proposition. We don't want to have exactly what everybody else has, right? And so helpful questions for this is, what does our competition beat us at? Which, here's the thing, guys. Unfortunately, our competition will beat us in some things. What are the gaps in our competition's offering or structure? And so we can look at competition and be able to say, okay, they don't offer this and this together. And here's the thing, is like, I feel like everyone, especially in the agency space, has a combination of certain offers, but you can still find gaps in your competition. Okay. And then what do our competitors do that we don't want to do? Then, once we've answered those questions, we end up with a lot of elements to condense down into a concise, hard hitting statement that is really going to define a couple things. One, who we are, what we do, and then who we do it for. Right. And that's really what positioning allows us to do. Okay. Now, put that statement whenever you have time to do this, right? We've done this exercise before, so if you're like wanting like a more in-depth training on it, somewhere in my YouTube channel you can find that. But which level of positioning do we kind of fall under? And there's really three levels of positioning that we can fall under. And I have an analogy here written out, and I'll read through it that kind of helps clarify this concept a little bit more, right? And this is one that my partner Nicholas wrote out as far as like, hey, these are the different positionings, and we use a restaurant analogy to kind of talk about the different levels of positioning. So imagine you're a restaurant wanting to stand out in your local market. At the lowest level of positioning, everyone is relatively the same thing, a commodity, easily accessible and affordable. Every restaurant is a restaurant, no matter how fancy or good the food is. We don't have any way of knowing what we're going to get unless stated. We as a customer can't make a great decision about what we're looking for. All we know is that we're hungry. Okay. Now, think about it like this. Do you want to be the restaurant that is defaulted to when there's no other option, when there's no specialization, we're unable to charge any sort of premium for our food, we're not exceptionally good at anything specific, so our perceived value is low. So, example of this would be like a McDonald's, right? We don't necessarily want to be here. Now, of course, McDonald's as a chain is very successful, but normally in something like the agency space or high ticket services, you don't want to be the McDonald's where it's like pumping high volume, but no one really respects the food too much. It's kind of like a last ditch option, and no one really respects, uh, uh, the food. Okay. Now, if you're wanting to run an agency, well, at the end of the day, we do have to move our positioning, right? And the second level positioning, which will be a little bit better, obviously, than the first level positioning. And here's another restaurant example. The next level or the better level of positioning is where you might be able to say, hey, we're an Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, Mediterranean restaurant. Now we can see that someone can actually make a conscious decision on wanting to eat our specific genre of food. We might have some specific menu items they like. We're specialized enough that you can meet that people know what they're going to get and an expectation it's going to be probably a little bit more expensive than something like a McDonald's, right? Now, the customers know the food is likely going to be good, as well as having a local reputation that this is the spot in the city for XYZ food. Okay. Now we're kind of getting somewhere, right? We have a specialization around that. And this is often where we see people start to niche down in their agency, as an example, and kind of specialize in something, right? So if you had an Italian restaurant, we're not necessarily talking about like an Olive Garden, but kind of think of like a local Italian restaurant. They're like, hey, like that's a really good spot. We go there on a regular basis, right? Now, the third level and the final level of positioning is where the customer knows exactly what they're seeking out. So maybe this is something like, a French restaurant. Okay. The business can fulfill the specific desires and outcomes that the customer is looking for. And as a result, it is highly specialized. Okay. So for example, we're now a Michelin star restaurant. Okay. It's a fresh French Michelin star restaurant specializing in seafood. Okay. Now, this is where we go from cheap to expensive. Okay. And essentially, what we're looking to attract is only people looking for the best of the best. Okay. They're ready to pay the premium for that specific type of food. And it essentially allows people to come in and say, hey, this is exactly what I'm interested in, French and specifically seafood. Now, notice in this case, we're not so niche down to just French or seafood, let alone Michelin star. That would turn anyone away not looking for these cuisines. Okay. To have positioning, you must be willing to say no. Okay. Like this is exactly why we pick a niche and this is why we go a mile deep, is so we can be the premium product. And so the moment that you accept clientele who aren't a fit for your positioning, that is when we tend to lose. And this is something that we see a lot of times with agencies getting their traction or don't have a specialization. And here's things we can always expand, right? Some of the examples I'm going to show you guys today will have some expansion in there. But positioning is created by putting boundaries around who you are, what you do, what you charge, and uh, and that's why you can command the premium prices. Okay. So just a quick lesson on the positioning side of things. This is exactly where we want to be. We want to be premium. We want to be known for something specific. And then, of course, we can expand outside of that. Now, positioning doesn't just stop at, just like the words we say or what we put on our website, something that needs to be revisited pretty frequently. Update it. Okay, make sure that we're actually living this out, and the way that we are positioned is actually being lived out. And this is what will establish market leader positionings. Now, what are some of the benefits of this exactly? Well, it kind of makes you the go-to in your niche, right? When people come to Hydra, it's like they know us as like operational excellence, right? Like that's why they come to us, is to make their operations, whether that's through lead gen, sales, fulfillment, HR, finance. Okay. It's going to give us during the sales process a lot more leverage because we already have the social proof, the experience in solving a specific problem for that marketplace by positioning our agency or our consultancy or whatever business, okay, as a thought leader in the industry. And we do this through content. That's why we do live streams. That's why we post YouTube videos. We do this in order to be the go-to in the niche. Now, this accumulates over time, right? Like our live stream isn't the most attended live stream. Our YouTube channel isn't the biggest YouTube channel, but it's a slow build, right? Like, and we get a lot of traction as we continue to do it because we eventually become the go-to. In addition, the more influence you have in this specific niche, the less work you have to do during the sales process as they are already pre-sold, right? So this like colder traffic, if they've watched some of your stuff, if they've seen your content and you are positioned for a specific problem, then a lot of times it's easier to sell them because there's trust for it already. Now, the second thing here is you could charge what you're worth and never be compared to someone else who can do it for less. Okay. And this is one that we often get. And if you ever get someone that gets on the phone with you and says, "Oh, yeah, like I'm just vetting some cheaper options." Okay. Can be one of the most frustrating things ever because it's like, are you basing your decision based off of cheap or based off of value? Right? Is it price or value that they're going after? Now, you've kind of hit gold, and this happens pretty frequently when people come and chat with us of like, hey, I'm not even sure if I can afford this, but I just wanted to see what it was about. That's the best place to be. And once you can kind of figure those pieces out and you can have people come into a conversation of like, I don't know if I can afford this, but I know you're the best decision for me and the best place to go for this. You've hit a market leader level of positioning 3. Okay. And then the last thing is it's just going to reduce competition and unideal clientele. Okay. It's going to push, like when people are coming to you and saying, I don't even know if I can afford this. Okay. That probably means that the lower tiered clientele aren't even going to approach you because they know they can't afford it, which is a really good place to be. So, quick warning on this: as you kind of go through an exercise of like positioning your agency or positioning your business in a specific way, people often struggle saying no to clients that fall outside of their positioning. As entrepreneurs, I know that often we see opportunity everywhere. And just know that you have to position yourself effectively and you need to establish which clients that you'll say no to and which ones that you have the capacity and like the right ones to say yes to. So just know, like, segment those and draw a fine line because you can't help everybody if you're going to do positioning the correct way. So hopefully that makes sense. So let's look at some positioning. Let's look at some websites. Let's look at how some people in our marketplace are positioning currently. If I go over here, does it switch? I think it does. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. So here's what we're looking for. We're gonna look at a couple websites here. But here's the general uh consensus of what we'll look for inside of the website. So who we are, okay, or who you are, what we do, what proof do you have, and why should people have it? Okay, this is kind of a bonus one of like, hey, why should people buy into what you do as a service? Okay, so some things that we have to run through there, but here's exactly what we're looking for when it comes to positioning, and you'll see this kind of play out on certain websites that are great and some that aren't great. Now, first one that I want to pull up is bad marketing. If you guys don't know, bad Eddie Malouf, Ashton Shanks, gangsters in our space. Okay, but they have a very well positioned website. Okay. Bad marketing at the top. So who we are bad marketing. As you can see from the top here at the header, and I do have some feedback based off of their website. I'm personally, and this is just personal ethos, not a big fan of like the big header videos. I want to get to the information probably just a little bit faster. But e-commerce, local business, info product, pretty clear of like what they serve if you just look at their header. Now, I would like to see that a little bit earlier instead of like a big header video, which they're very heavy on creative. They have a pretty big creative team. I would personally would rather have this like as like one of the initial statements of like e-commerce local info product into a concise USP. Okay. So like marketing for growing brands. Okay. Now we make good brands go bad, bold and disruptive. Okay. Pretty good USP, but I think they could get something a little harder hitting than this. Okay. And then F boring, Heman and 4Media have come together to disrupt the future of digital marketing, scaling brands with bold strategies that rise above the noise. Now, if I were them as well, I would even stop leaning into the Heman and 4Media. They did their merger, which is great, but I wouldn't even start noting Heman and 4Media inside of here. Like they need to just lean into the bad marketing side of things, in my opinion. The logo farm is good, but I would put it somewhere else. I'd probably put it like in a place where it's a little bit easier to see, and that would make the logo farm a little bit bigger because they have some really big clientele um under their client roster, and I would point it out a little bit more clearly than what it's stated right now. So we have a good idea of what they do, but we don't have a quite an idea of like who they do it for yet. Now, of course, at the top here, we can click on e-commerce, local business, info, product. Like that's pretty clearly stated. Um, but we have to scroll down a little bit before we start seeing that. So, but overall, we do get to that eventually. Okay. So e-commerce growth, coaching and info product, local business. So, and they have lots of call to actions here. This is always a good thing to have of like they can essentially at any point in the scroll, you could pretty much get to a call to action. That there's a little bit of a lag there as far as call to actions go. I'd probably put a few more in there, but good call to actions all throughout here. Red, bold and disruptive call to actions, which is solid. Now, one of the things that we said that we want to see in here as well is what proof do we have? Sweet. Results over the last year. Annual client revenue, $1.3 billion, $250 million in ad spend per year, 150 plus growth experts, which I think they're talking about team size there, which could be a deterrent for some people. Some people like big teams, some people don't. So it kind of depends on the type of agency, but it is very specific. And the people that are wanting, more of like a large team agency, like this would be good for them to know that they can support the larger and larger clients, and that's why they have 150 plus growth experts there. Is so that they're trying to move up market in the types of clients that they serve. So this is often an indicator that it's like, hey, this is not a boutique agency. We can handle big business. We can handle big marketing campaigns, whatever you guys need. So kind of gives you an idea. But they do a good job of showing some of their um, products and services, right? So for e-commerce growth, they do paid ads, content creation, email, SMS, Amazon, CRO, coaching and info, ads, email and SMS strategy and offer creation, content creation, funnel building, sales management, and then local business, automotive shops, and family entertainment centers are kind of their main niche. So as you could tell, and this is what we talk about when we're talking about like kind of niche hopping, right? Is like you figure out one and then you start expanding. And I think they started in the local business, and then eventually they moved into ecom, and then now they do a lot of coaching and info as well. And they crush it with those things. Partners with them, as most agencies are, Google, YouTube, Amazon, all of that. So just talks a little bit more about, hey, here's our capabilities, which is good. Um, and then little creative farm here as well. Some of the ads and creatives that they've done looks a little bit more on the organic side than the paid ad side. I mean, I'm sure some of these were turned into ads at some point in time. Little message from the founders as well, for Media and Heman, another logo farm, podcast, call to actions, all that good stuff. So what are we missing out on here? So we have the proof in there. I don't know if they have case studies. Yeah, so one thing I would definitely put in here if I was on the bad marketing team is a place for them to post case studies. Always a really good play when it comes to like people kind of skimming through the website and seeing the results they're able to deliver. Personally, I don't think that this is enough as far as like, hey, this is what we're able to do. Some people are going to come to the website and be like, all right, where are the results at? So I would add in some case studies, and maybe they have them if we click on this. Okay, there's some here. But these are just testimonials, and this is kind of a case study, but not really. Um, content, yeah. So I would be posting and writing a lot of case studies in here, and then I would just have this packed, like a place packed for just the info case studies, local case studies, and e-commerce case studies. So I think the results section can be bolstered a little bit. And why should people have it? I think they give a good indicator of like why people should have it. But one of my favorite things to see on a website is like on average, businesses grow X percentage by working with us because you can easily find those stats and be able to say, hey, when brands work with us, this is this is how much they grow on average. Okay, which gives people a good indicator of like, hey, like this is what we can do by working with them. So just some quick pointers there on that side. This is for e-commerce, I think. So paid ads. Let's see if they've got any case studies here. Yeah, no case studies here either. Which they show their work, which is great. We love showing work, but man, like show me some results. Okay, $250 million in ad spend per year, which is solid. Which I'm sure they have case studies if you went and searched hard enough for them, or if you were getting on a call with them. So maybe there's some positioning there for them of like, hey, we tried putting case studies on, and it wasn't working because like people are probably going to ask for case studies regardless. So something to be cognizant of. All right, bad marketing, which their branding's so solid, man. Like their branding will carry them a very long way. But if you're someone that does not have a ton of branding and you need that little extra push, then chances are you're gonna probably need more results based because bad marketing, they're a pretty large agency. They've got a good reputation in the space. And so with that being said, a lot of times you don't have to lean on the results as hard because people want to work with you. But when you're first getting started and your agency is a little bit smaller, getting a little bit more traction, your name's not known in the space as a market leader, then sometimes it is a lot harder to get traction if you don't have the results stacked for you. Okay. Second agency that we're going to look at from the UK, Elemental Agency. So let's see how their market leader positioning is stacking up. All right. So on your marks, get set, grow. Low cost, high quality digital services for businesses who want to grow. So for me, at least, personal preference, I'm never going to say that I'm a low cost anything. Okay. Low cost equals low value in most situations. So low cost, not what I'm gonna be kind of like differentiating myself from. Okay. Um, and then big big no-no also in my opinion, putting price on the website. Okay, what we do, social media management, social media marketing, $350 per month, $175 per month, which is extremely cheap for social media management. This doesn't give you a chance to pitch, okay, and actually sell them on what they need. Business coaching, Google ads, training. Okay. Confused? Very much so, actually. The jargon buster. Do that in this marketing social media acronyms and baffling terminology make your head hurt? Maybe let's click on it, see what it opens up to. Whoa, crazy. All right, so they just have a glossary of terms. Um, okay. Our values, it's all about you. Bring the fire every day. Give a shit. Okay. Good to see their reviews. I'm not a huge fan of like their plugin for Google reviews. I just think it looks a little clunky. Our site is currently under construction. Okay, well, fair. Our site isn't working on it. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like branding helps that positioning a little bit, but like, let's look at what we're looking for here. Okay. So, once again, we're looking for who we are, what we do, what proof do we have, why should people have it? So, if we look at this, let's look at who we are first. The only place that we see any type of logo is up in the top right. It's a very small elemental agency. Okay. Um, doesn't really talk about who they specifically are. Now, what they do is laid out pretty concisely here. I just am not a huge fan of having price points on the website because once again, you can't create packages for people. You can't charge a higher retainer. It's like this is what we consider like fishing the bottom of the barrel for clientele. Yeah, you are completely competing on prices. McDonald's model 101 of like we're the fast food drive through of agency services. Unfortunately, I know it's really hard feedback and probably sounds a little harsh, but I mean that's kind of the truth of how this website is set up. Of like, hey, like we're order takers, and whatever you want, you just pay a flat fee for it, and we're going to deliver. Now, technically, they have what we do, but I mean at $350 per month, I mean it makes it really hard to scale. Now, who they do it for isn't necessarily laid out here. Social media ad intermediate package. So they have different packages. But here's the thing is like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't set this up, right? Very well for success, unfortunately. Because like they're gonna have to read through this and be like, okay, so what this is included, what's included in this one, they're gonna have to differentiate chances are they're gonna go with the bottom option just to try it out. There's probably not any type of agreements in here. It's probably just a rolling. What happens if we want to get started? Yeah, they just fill out an inquiry form. Um, okay. So if we go back to home, like who is this for? Just digital services for businesses who want to grow. So such a broad, generalized statement of like, hey, businesses that want to grow. So basically, they serve everyone, yeah, just like a McDonald's would. About us seems like a nice team. Ameno is made of 4 directors, just like 4 elements. See what we did there. So they just need a little love. Patty McKay need a little love on the website, which is fine. I like the sleeves though, little tattoo club. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing is like they seem to be like going against like the jargons and acronyms. I mean, I want jargon. I want acronyms. I want to set myself apart from the competition. I don't want to be the layman of digital marketing, right? Which I get what they're doing, trying to be positioned as like we're like the non-marketer's marketer, right? Um, I just think they need a little bit more of a defined niche. They need to get their price points off their website. Like, that's gonna kill them for sure. Because like, once again, they're fishing bottom of the barrel clients by doing this. There's no opportunity for them to actually sell high ticket. So, definitely a little bit of a rough one there. Really, there's no explanation of, like, who they are right off the rip. Basically, this is what I know about them right off the rip: low cost, high quality digital services for businesses that wanna grow. Basically saying that they're gonna help everybody in the space. What proof do you have? I didn't see any case studies. They have a newsletter about us, services. Maybe if we click on a specific service. Nope. Let's pick on social media management. So no results, no average growth rate of clients. That's something that we would normally look for before booking a call. So definitely some work to do on this one as well. All right, let's move over to hardscape growth. Hardscape growth sounds like lead gen. So let's open up that one real fast. So this is something that we see pretty often actually with landscape businesses or like landscape hardscape type um type agencies. Just like a very much landing page type build, which can be good. But not my favorite approach. It's tough from the branding side, but also understand your space. Like a lot of times landing hardscapers, they're not looking for like a ton of branding. It's going to be relatively low ticket as well. So not a huge deal. talking about like the actual branding side of it. Now, if we look at kind of headline here, how we turned $500 in ad spend and 45K in revenue. Sure. One very specific example of that little VSL here, schedule your free consultations, problems we solved. But at no point, and here's the thing is like, sure, we can assume hardscapers, right? Hardscape is who they're going after here, but would like to see that a little bit sooner as far as their positioning goes, who they're actually serving. Case study how we took Richie's pavers from part time to having full time. So good results here, and this is pretty traditional of any kind of like landing page. So we have all the case studies, specific testimonials. Um, would like a little bit more of like an elaboration on this of like, hey, what did you do to get Abraham from 5 to 7 estimates to 12 to 16 estimates weekly? So like what actually happened to make that work. Okay. But overall good results. That's always solid to see. Schedule for your free consultation. So a little no more of this, get some more of this, more proof. So very proof heavy. So if you guys are gonna run just very proof heavy, I mean, this honestly isn't a bad way to do it. But if we look at who we are, we have no clue. Like, okay, who is this guy? Which I'm sure if we played the video, would say his name. But like, who are they? What is their business? What do they specifically do? Okay, problems they solve. But like, nothing in here is like, hey, we run paid ads for this specific niche, right? And I'm sure if you watch the VSL, it would explain that. But some people aren't going to watch it. Proof, plenty of proof in there, but we're kind of missing out on the who we are. What do we do? And then why should people have it? Plenty of results to kind of show that, but I would love to see, like, on average, what their growth percentage is for these hardscapers. How do I get started? Yeah. So, I mean, it needs a little love of TLC. Um, as far as like this site goes, it is a landing page, so it is what it is. I understand it probably honestly works decently for him. But from a branding perspective, like being like a market leader and like a category king, eh, isn't what is going to get him there. He's not going to demand like the highest prices in the marketplace for this specific niche, which, in my opinion, is what everyone should do. So that's Hardscape Growth.io. We got two more here. I want to go through PZN Happiness and then BrickPod. We'll do BrickPod first. If you guys have questions on positioning as we're going through here, feel free to drop them in the chat. So BrickPod Media, creating brands and building connections, your story, our craft. Okay. So a little about them section. So they're creating brands. So I'm assuming e-commerce just by reading this. So creating brands and building connections. So if I had to guess, combination of like branding or content and paid ads. We'll see if that's the positioning that they take. But scroll down a little bit. Okay, so website creation and development. Um, right off the bat, like just a misalignment in what they're like about us and like their first service, which is website creation and development, right? So they need probably a little harder hitting unique selling proposition than that. Podcast services, which I guess fall in alignment with brands, uh, maybe digital content, but there's really nothing in here of like who do they actually serve, which they have their logo farm here. Coffee roasters, someone in the financial, more coffee roasters, more coffee. So it seems like they do a lot in the coffee space. Maybe that's like their go-to. That's what they should lean into. We cultivate creativity, nurture growth, and spark massive expansion for our business relationships. Okay, how? That's what I'm curious about. How does that happen? Podcast services, real estate, media. Interesting. So they said real estate media, but like a majority of their people on their site are coffee brands. And we got pictures of cars. We have the podcast. So the podcast makes sense. And we got pictures of food and then the coffee brands again. It's just, it's kind of all over the place. And then they do website creation too. 19 Google reviews, which is good. Enter the ecosystem. What happens if I say get started? Ready to take your brand to new heights? Reach out to us today, whether you have a specific project in mind or need guidance on crafting a winning digital strategy. Our team is here to assist you. Contact BrickPod Media to start your conversation about how we can collaborate to achieve your marketing goals. We look forward to hearing from you. BrickPod Media is more than a marketing agency. We're your partners in success. Let's build stronger, more impactful online presence together. We're based in Miami, Florida. Okay. Um, let's look at about us. Digital ecosystem that nurtures growth and maximizes the resources of our clients. Um, man, it's tough. It's tough because like it's just there's a lot going on. So services, digital content, podcast services, business services, which this is just more content, professional headshots, corporate photography, brand strategy, and commercials, web development, luxury content, lead generation. So once again, very broad in their positioning. Like Like, this is crazy. Like, over here, we got some biscuits or muffins, and then over here, we have lead generation for something. I don't know what that's for. Cleaning? Car cleaning services? So, I mean, they really need just a refresh on their positioning, I think, in general, because really, there's nothing in there about who we are, which, okay, they're BrickPod Media, okay, but, like, who do you guys actually serve? Okay? What do you guys do? Like, this is a very large offering. It could probably be condensed into content, web dev, lead gen. Oh, and podcast services. But like luxury content can fit under what they have as like business services, commercials, brand strategy. Like all that can kind of live under the content side. And maybe it's like they could do a strategy as well, like strategy section. But like web dev, content, podcast services, which podcast services is so left field for me. I don't understand that one. And then specifically, who are they serving, right? Portfolio. Let's see what their portfolio looks like. Luxury media. Can I click on this? Can't. People, hospitality, auto, products. So once again, wide range. Wide range. Look at about us real fast. Versatile and innovative digital eco. Oh, we already looked at this. Okay. So yeah, I mean, need some work because there's no really like there's a lot of what we do. Like almost too much. Too much what we do. Um, they do talk about who they are, but not a lot of proof either. So not a lot of results driven content inside of their business. And then really nothing around who they serve. It's very broad. Should I chat with them? Yo. All right. Next website. One more. PZN Happiness. I pulled these by the way from our opt-ins. So if you guys are wondering where I'm finding these websites, I just outside of bad marketing, I just threw in there. But these are people that have opted into a training or resource from Hydra at some point in time, and so I just pulled their website from our opt-in page. So these are people that have been interested in learning something about us, whether that's downloading a training or resource. So that's where I'm pulling these websites from. I'm not just like randomly finding these. All right. Oh Lord. Okay. P plus H. P and H. P PZN happiness. PZN happiness. In happiness. I'm confused. Confused by this. Okay. Um, there's a lot going on. So this is the full page. I can't scroll down at all. This is just the front page of the website. Um, okay. Right off the bat, I have no clue what they do. It looks like something in the music industry. So hopefully they do something in music. Otherwise, this is going to be a very interesting positioning right off the bat. So assuming that they're working with artists of some sort, music artists, looks like R&B and rap, maybe. There's a guitar in there as well. So let's click about us. Peace and happiness. Got it. Peace. Okay, PZ. Peace and happiness. That's crazy. All right. Is a creative marketing firm based in Washington, D.C., specializing in branding, marketing, content development, and event production. We assist brands by strategically reaching and growing their community. So it looks like mostly musicians empower. We empower musicians by providing a roadmap to finding and growing brand, their artist brand. It's confusing. But okay, that makes sense. So they're specifically in the music industry, which is a good niche, I guess. Entertain, we ensure safe, inclusive, and memorable experiences. So it sounds like they do uh like production as well. And then educate, we provide the necessary information to ensure our community make the best choice for themselves. Makes the best choice for themselves. Um so overall, I'm a little confused off the rip, but let's see what their services are. So branding, develop, strengthen, and amplify your true self. Share your authentic messaging and brand identity. We'll look at the strategic options in a second. Digital, reach your community through digital channels such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and more. And then events. So they curate events too. It's kind of crazy. Um, Kind of a cool offering package. I actually don't mind this offering package. Their website is a little bit of a hot mess though. Explore strategic options. Okay, so this just goes to a form for them to fill out. Same thing. Same thing. Yeah. Let's go look at their events. Do what you want. $10 event here on sale. Mm, Contact. Okay. So really not too much about these guys. I would say they're probably the most niche specific people that we've covered so far outside of bad. Um, but who we are, eh, there's like not a ton of information on these guys. Like I don't really know who they are, what their experience is, what their background is. Like something that bad does a really good job of if you scroll down is talking about, or let's back up a little bit, talking about who they are, right? So they talk a little bit about, oh, this is just e-commerce. They talk about Eddie and Ashton right down here. Message from the founder, so it gives them a little bit of like who they are specifically. What you do, okay, we have a good idea of what they do. They actually do a good job there. Not a whole lot of proof on their site. I would love to see more proof. And then why should people have it? Eh, I mean, none really, because there's no results tied to it. So it's really tough. And the green is so powerful. Green is so powerful, man. It's so bright. Um, so I mean, the positioning is a little bit off. I wish I had a few more examples of like really good positioning websites. Here, I'll pull up one more. I'll pull up structured real fast because they're always a good one. Struck oh, Structured agency. All right. So this I think Structured has one of the better agency websites in the space, super clean. Which it always kind of makes me laugh that they have just like a regular photo because like they have so much content. I'm very surprised that they don't have like a team photo on one of these sides. But drive revenue and retention with performance marketing that actually works. So clear, unique selling proposition right off the bat. Okay. Um, Weak under research marketing strategies don't cut it anymore. Grow your business and boost revenue with innovative industry best strategies tailored to your needs. They are ecom. I don't know if they're going outside of ecom soon. Maybe they are. Maybe that's why they've like kind of repositioned. But they are an e-commerce forward agency. So I would probably have something more on the D2C side, ecom, right off the bat. They do have case studies, but they do talk about who they are. Essentially, very quickly, 150 leading brands have grown the revenue with structured logo farm, solid logo farm. So look at the difference between bad and structured's logo farms. This sticks out because it's on the white background. I'm not shitting on these guys. It's just feedback. Um, I think just with the video, like I would rather see their logo farm just below the video. That way it sticks out a little bit more. Which they have two logo farms. They have one here and then they have one at the bottom as well. So maybe at some point people will see that. But I would love to see case studies because that's something that Structure does really well here. Is that they have media case studies, email case studies, major moments, services. So they go into services, email and SMS, paid media, in-house content creation, and then CRO as well. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Why choose structured? So we talked about this. Why should people have it? Okay, this is something that's super underlooked in a lot of websites. Is why should people have it? Okay, why choose structured? Loads of marketing agencies make all kinds of promises. At structured, we produce results. Other agencies, experienced marketers, copy paste growth strategies, ignore challenges. Okay, and then structured's positive list, right? 15 years proven success, customized best fit solutions. Start scaling today. So this is something that I wish more sites would include inside of their positioning of like, hey, why us? Why choose our agency over everyone else that's out there? Okay. Then they put in some major moments here. So if we go back, what proof do you have? Major moments, Strike Club, and then we can read the full case study in here as well. Okay. I love this 84% increase in CVR, 14% landing page conversion rate, 3x increase in engagement, legacy box, 180 percent increase. Okay, so having these case studies and see how many they have. Yeah, dude, they have five, seven in here. Which, if I were them, I would just keep stacking case studies inside of this if they can. Just keep building them. Like ideally, if you can do a case study a month and stack it on your website, such a good place to be. Um, so right away, man, they tick all the boxes on the homepage: who we are, what we do, what proof do we have, and why should people have it. All of those boxes are ticked, which none of the websites are reviewed so far tick those boxes. This is what we always look for inside of websites that are really solid. So who you are, what you do, what proof do we have, and why should people have it. Really good, um, really good website as for structured here. So this is one that I always go back to, is like, this is a really good example. So if you guys want to build one, like, it's clean, it's easy to navigate. They actually changed it recently. I actually like this layout better than the old one that they used to have. So just kind of gives you an idea of like, hey, this is what professional positioning looks like versus, kind of more of the rookie. And here's the thing, is like, you don't need all the crazy stuff. Like, this is not a crazy website. Like, this is a white background. Okay. White background. Let's look at our website real quick, because I think we're actually missing some of the stuff. So this is the Hydra website. A lot of moving pieces inside of it, but we give digital agencies the systems and infrastructure to scale. Okay, so talks about what we do. I don't know if we have a who we are section in here. This is something that we just need to move at some point. This probably needs to just be a different area of like our event. Okay, but this is the who we are. So Hydra is a consulting firm focused on helping agency owners 0 to 10 million implement the systems they need to increase profits and improve efficiency across our organization. Okay, so this is who we are. This is the proof that we have. Okay, 170% average annual growth that our clients see, and then 3.8% is roughly our churn rate. And then we talk a little bit about our process as well. Okay, so we're hitting on who we are, what we do, proof we have, and then why should people want it, which structure does such a good job. But like we talk about, hey, what are other agencies saying about us? So these are just some of our pieces here. One thing that we have to put in here is our case studies. We actually have a lot of case studies that we just haven't uploaded yet. And so that needs to be in there. And then this is just our process that we're talking about, which could be why people should have it. But I think we could do a better job of explaining that, kind of like structured does. And there's like, we go back to structured for a second. I love this about structured agency. Going to the bottom. So why choose us? So good. So good. So even feedback for our own website, we need to make some changes, which we're making changes right now. We're actually redesigning a lot of our website. So that's it. That's it for the market leader positioning side, guys. Hopefully that's helpful in like understanding positioning that stands out versus positioning that doesn't stand out. Structured is really a good example of positioning that stands out specifically on a website. And here's the thing is like, there's other ways to position your agency outside of just the website. So don't think that that's the only way to position the agency. All right, crew. That's it for our first segment. We're going into Guru Gauntlet next, which I'm stoked for because we got some good ones today. There are some funny ones that kind of popped up. Normally, when I search for these videos, I just look up SMMA and just see what pops up in like the most recent. So like I do like a 30-day window of like, hey, what were some of the videos that got the most traction over the last 30 days when I just type in SMMA. And then this one came up first, which is just SMMA LOL, which I love. So we'll see what this guy has to say. I don't remember this kid's name, but we'll jump in here and review it.
Thing to do with SMMA. Let me quickly explain. So recently I ran an experiment where I posted a YouTube video on a brand new channel, and the goal was to rank that YouTube video at the top of the most popular search terms on YouTube right now. And I actually ran this experiment a few times, and I was able to rank for a few of these most popular search terms, one of which being Alex Hormozi, one of which being Iman Ghatzi, one of which being Ali Abdal, and also many, many more. And the reason why I'm doing this is to basically prove that I can rank for any search term on YouTube, which is obviously very, very powerful. And so why am I recording this video? Well, it's to prove that I can do it yet again, to further prove that I can rank for any search term. And this time I'm going to try rank for the search term SMMA. So if you're seeing this right now, chances are I am ranking for that term because you probably found the video through that term. And if that's the case, then my experiment was successful. And yeah, that's the only purpose for this video. So I'll wrap this up here. But if you want to find out how I did this, or if you want to do this for yourself or whatever, then I'll leave a couple socials in the description or my website or whatever. And so you can reach out to me there and, you know, go down that process. But anyway, yeah, I'll wrap this video up here. If you're seeing this video right now, then chances are my experiment was successful.
So his experiment was successful because I looked up top videos past 30 days SMMA, and this is one of the first ones that popped up. So that's funny. Good call to action at the end there. I'm sure he has some sort of coaching or product that he can send people for ranking on YouTube. Solid first video. All right. I was excited to watch this one. So this is SMMA Guru tier list. So he's going to go through and actually explain the different gurus in our space and who to follow and who not to listen to. So I'm excited for this one.
I wouldn't really watch fucking weenie built like
it's a little longer. So
why are you watching
speed it up a little bit?
I'm ready to throw down with anybody that has some problems with what the fuck I gotta say. Okay, get those big titty girls off your phone. I wouldn't really watch most of his.
All right, here we go.
I'm a guru tier list. Exactly what it says in the tin. For someone who is, or was, I should say, a professional bullshitter almost their whole life, I'm really good at sifting out who's full of shit and who is actually legit. So in this video, I'm going to dive into every single SMMA guru out there that's tenured on YouTube, that has a little bit of a following, and displays information
to people
like you guys watching this video. I was put on this motherfucking planet to tell you guys and show you guys who you should be listening to and who you shouldn't be listening to. Okay, I'm not an SMA guru myself. A lot of my content is raw footage of me just doing my thing. I don't really like to get you guys influenced by just, you know, like hot topic content or this, that, and this. I'm very raw with my footage, and I just like to show you guys the nitty and gritty real deal most of the time. But in this video, I'm going to make a huge change, and show you guys who you should be listening to and who you shouldn't be. A lot of surprises in this fucking video. I don't expect this video to be praised amongst a lot of people. However, this is my opinion,
after this.
And this is who I would listen to and I wouldn't listen to if I was to start at the beginning like you guys. All right, guys. So I made my own type of categories right here. As you can see, goated, pro, mid, meh, weenie, trash. I would personally not listen to a single motherfucker who is below the mid line. So if they're in mid, you'd watch a couple of videos of those guys. But if they're in meh, if they're in weenie, if they're definitely in trash, I would refrain from watching these guys' videos. Damn. So let's dive straight into it.
Imagine you watch this and you're in the weenie list or trash list. That'd be horrible.
Fucking strong. Okay. Probably the biggest OG on this list is going to be Jordan Platten.
Jordan Platten.
I don't want to fucking butt heads, but this guy's a pro. This guy is one of the best. I would definitely listen to this guy. A lot of his videos popped up before I started SMMA.
True.
And a lot of his shit was quite legit. I've watched tens of his videos. And I must say, a lot of high value in there. Some fluff, must say, but everyone has that. You know, like, you can't consistently pump out banging content for 4 years straight and expect, you know, every single piece of information that is given out to be pure heat. But this guy is very consistent. He has his own agency, guys, if you don't have your own fucking agency, besides the scaling other agencies type content, you shouldn't be listening to them. He has both.
That's probably true.
So
I don't have an agency
I
anymore,
would
though. But we
100%
sold
watch
our
his
agency.
videos.
I don't know if that counts.
Shut that fucking guy. All right, Arturo Duarte. Let's just put him in the weenie section. Nah, let's put him in Matt.
Hey, you got upgraded.
I'd watch 1 or 2 videos of this guy, but all in all, a lot of his shit is very cookie cutter. It's a very fucking copy and paste from a lot of other people that is online, and you can find it from the actual source. Now, nothing against this guy, but the content is just not it for me, and sales skills ability isn't really there. I would refrain from watching this guy personally. Now, I'm not trying to tarnish anyone's names.
This
is just my opinion. If you're trying to get...
Do I ever talk about like sales side of things? Because like I just don't feel like I'm a good enough professional to talk about sales. Like I think there's a lot that I could probably talk on sales. I just don't, because it's such a high leverage skill, and there's people that are so much better at it than me. I just don't talk about it a lot. Like I try to stay in my lane on like the operational side and talk about lead gen or operational organization, things like that. I try to stay away from the sales lane because it is a very it's one of those things where I just get so self-conscious about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I have chops in sales, but you know, I will not post videos on sales because it's just not my lane. Like other people post content that's way better than anything I could ever post on sales. So I get
as much information as fast as possible. I wouldn't really watch most of his videos. Same with Carter Vincentini. Not really someone who has skill. I don't really see a lot of high value in his calls.
I see a couple homies in here. Look, okay, so we have Hunter Soroy. We have Matt Shields. I hope he puts these guys at the go-to, because Matt Shields and Soroy are actually really solid agency owners. They're extremely intelligent. So I'm curious what he's going to say about Joel too. I don't know some of these other guys. I'll see what he says, but that's Matt Shields and that's Hunter. I'm sure he's going to hopefully give them good ratings, because they are legit agency owners.
Are maybe 1 or 2 videos out there that he has, but it's not worth diving into to watch. Good kid, very much a young blood. I wouldn't really watch any of his videos. That's my opinion, okay? Charlie Morgan.
Charlie Morgan.
Look, this guy, fucking annoying, by the way, because he's that good. He's like that guy when you play football. He just always gives you that goal. He always gives you that cheeky little tap-in goal. Now, he puts that work in on the pitch, but he's not shining like everybody else. But the guy just fucking works. He grafts. He knows how to make money. He has skill. I like his mindset. A little bit monotone, no fap type shit. But all in all, I would put him.
I feel about my shit sometimes. It's just like fucking, we're just talking strategy.
I wouldn't watch any of his shit. He hasn't posted in a long ass time. Very monotone. One of those red pill dudes. And I just stay away from that shit, okay? If you guys need help with anything, my DMs on Instagram are open. Here's my Instagram. And feel free to join my Discord down in the link below. It's completely free. Ask me any questions. I'm always in the calls to answer anyone who needs help. Evan Vance, same shit. Very cookie cutter type shit. Wouldn't watch his shit. Look, I'm going to make this fast. I want to make sure you guys get as much value in this video as possible. This is not for content. This is for you guys to make sure you're making the right investment on who you actually spend time watching. So far, I don't think I've missed, okay? Hens, fucking trash. Just don't ever watch his videos, okay? The dude is not reputable by any means. Anyone that starts flexing all their shit, if you go on these guys' Instagrams, you can see exactly what these type of guys are like. That's why I commend Charlie and Jordan, because they have a lot of money, but they don't like to flaunt all that money. Whereas some of these guys here, I would question otherwise, okay? Hens,
Hunter's
bottom
up
of
next.
the list. He might be the worst guy on this fucking list, so don't watch his videos. Even though you guys are now intrigued on what I'm saying, don't watch his fucking videos, okay? Now, I think the next guy is probably the best guy on this list.
Wow.
I could speak
hours
on this guy. It puts a smile to my face to even know that I'm in his network and we actually communicate. So, without further ado, Hunter Soroy, probably the greatest salesman in this whole list. And of all the people you want to watch, this is the fucking guy you need to listen to. I'm a beginner in this game. I've been doing this 2 years. I wouldn't say I'm tenured at all. I've only earned 50 grand per month profit as one of my best months. You know, I've scaled the company to 75 grand per month and $50,000 is profit. Okay, so my best month is probably one of his worst months when he was in his, in his flow. Hunter Saroy is goated. Best salesman on this list. I don't even need to explain why. You just need to go watch his videos. This isn't a fucking test for you guys. This isn't a fucking
Hunter's on
content
here,
page.
dude.
This is for you guys moving forward. As soon as you're done watching this video, you go watch the goated and the pro motherfuckers in this list, because you will get value straight from these guys. You don't need to buy any course. You don't need to buy any mentorship. You don't need to buy anything. Hunter Saroy is your guy when it comes to sales, because he just spits straight fire when he sells. And he definitely tailors himself to a lot of the people that are beginning, like you guys, okay? Whereas with me in sales, I wouldn't say I'm the best, but I'm a little bit hot compared to Hunter, who's very, very watered down and just has that killer instinct, and he does it in a silent killer way. So 100% watch Hunter Saroy. Best sales guy on this list by a mile. And the guy fucking scaled the company to $250,000 a month. Sold his company, could speak on ends. Like I said, that's me talking about Hunter. Love you, bro.
Gay!
E-Man, probably the most famous guy here. Now, I think putting him in meh is doing a disservice. I'll put him in mid.
Wow.
Why? He probably
in the mid
paved
category.
the way for a lot of people that are successful on this list, and a lot of people who are successful just.
I will say, people like Iman are it's good to watch what they do and try to like pick it apart, right? So being able to look at his content, look at what he posts on a regular cadence, and just kind of see like, okay, why is he doing what he's doing? Like, why is he moving this way? Why is he shifting this way? Because he is a quite genius when it comes to the marketing side for his internal stuff. His education isn't probably the best, but oh, okay, dope. His content probably isn't the best, but overall, I think if you just watch him and just watch how he moves, you actually learn stuff from him.
Watching this that haven't made a single fucking YouTube video. Iman Gadzhi, although he's young, you see a lot of scam videos around this dude, and I don't like that. The kid is 23, 24 years old. Imagine you were 23 and 24 years old, and I see these guys. By the way, let me just go back. I see 30-year-old men, 40-year-old men making scammer videos about fucking Iman Gadzhi, a kid, a 24, 23-year-old kid who hasn't even been on this planet for a quarter of a century, who still makes a lot of fucking mistakes.
Is he only 23 or 24?
You fucking haters that are 30 and 40. I'm not meat riding. I'm just saying it as it is. I'm calling it as I see it. The motherfucker is self-made. Took his mother out of the shit. You have to commend
He's only 24. That's crazy.
Regardless of how he made his money,
he
makes a lot of content that relates to a lot of young men out there, to have them kind of pave the way to a better mindset. Maybe some people take it a little bit too serious with the red pill bullshit and the Andrew Tate wannabes.
Breathe air. You don't need a vape.
But when it comes to changing mindsets and making people see that there's a way to make money online and there's a way to escape the matrix, I think Iman Gadzhi is that guy. A few videos out there are quite high value of his, and I must commend him for what he does. So I don't really have many bad things to say. However, when it comes to strictly SMMA, I would say there are better people to watch, and he probably would agree. It's Keaton, bro. This guy's goated.
I actually don't know this guy.
Things that actually, before I even talk about It's Keaton, so far, both of these gentlemen in the goated list have children. Is it a coincidence that these guys in the top have kids and take care of a family and probably are living very, very happy, humble lifestyles? Maybe so. But when I watch videos of It's Keaton, it's very clear that he's making it so you guys can actually learn something from them. Instead of the fucking flexy bullshit all up in this motherfucker, it pisses me the fuck off. Okay? It's Keaton is doing a lot of things.
It's Jared Curry, good.
Mate, he's just one of those.
I've heard of Jared Curry. I've never watched his stuff though.
Why? Just don't watch the guy, okay? He's a minion of the guy that I'm about to fucking put on this list next. So if you're gonna listen to him, you should go directly.
What's he gonna say about Joel, dude?
Don't watch Jared Curry. Not shitting on you, but I'm just saying there are way better people out there to watch, and he is 100% not one of them to watch. Okay? I like genuine. I think
it's a good list,
and I don't get a lot of genuine.
I'm in a line
instances in his videos, so far. And it makes me feel like, what the fuck am I doing watching this video when I could be watching the fucking GOAT? That's why he's the GOAT.
Wow,
the GOAT. Well, I wouldn't say GOAT, but I would say probably him and Jordan Platten are neck and neck. We got to fucking line up a boxing video for these two motherfuckers, because these are the guys that have started it all, in my opinion. But Joel Coplin, it goes without saying. I don't even need to speak about Joel Kaplan, because if you are watching my videos, you know about Joel Kaplan, okay? Guy's a fucking beast. He's scaled his agencies past God knows
Offer
how much
king.
fucking dollars. I don't even know. But I've watched hundreds of his videos. I wouldn't say hundreds, but I've watched tens of his videos. And although there's a lot of fluff and surface level shit, most videos are surface level shit, you know? And like Jordan Platten, it's hard to keep consistently creating content over a prolonged period of time and have a banger video every single time. So
That's true.
Joel Kaplan, 100%.
That's what I struggle with sometimes. Like, what am I gonna create content on? So it's like I try to just go a layer deeper every video that I make, and sometimes I'll even repeat topics so I can go a layer deeper. Because the first go around, it's like, okay, what did I miss from this that I can make better?
If you were to buy his shit. Same with Joel Kaplan, or sorry, same with Hunter. What the fuck am I saying? Joel Kaplan, the same as Jordan Platten, same as Charlie Morgan. Now, although I would recommend the two guys above them to buy their shit rather than these guys, they 100% can get you to a stage where you can actually level your company up. Even if it's not SMMA, you can really learn a lot of skills in terms of scaling a business in general. But SMMA, these guys got you if you do invest in their products. If you put the work in, okay? It all comes out to discipline.
I just want to see what he says about Matt
blah,
Shields.
Blah, 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 blah.
Matt,
okay?
Matt's
Next
a
person
gangster,
line,
bro.
Matt Shields.
Oh, shit.
Big take on this, but I don't really get a lot of value from his videos. I like the stoic mindset. I like a lot of things that he does.
I like Matt.
But at the end of the day,
I don't watch his stuff, though.
There isn't much value in his content besides storytelling, which maybe could be something, but when it comes to SMMA and, you know, sucking as much information out from YouTube, he isn't the guy to watch. He's very red pill, very stoic, very monotone, very chill, very, you know, something that I don't like to see in a lot of men, especially if it's not the type of guys. He is valid, but a lot of people try to emulate what he does, and it just doesn't work. And I think he probably has a better way of portraying his messages. Now, he does get a lot of traction, but at the same time, there are better guys out there to watch. And I don't think you should be watching Matt Shields if Iman Gaji exists, okay? Because it's pretty much the same fucking shit. And, you know, I would believe that Matt Shields
I just know Matt Shields
for himself rather than
from Agency Founders event.
My opinion, not hating, good guy, just not something for me. Next in line is another fucking minion of Joel Kaplan, and that's Carson Fox, okay? I'm going to put him in the weenie section. Just a kid. If you're going to listen to this motherfucker, you're a dumbass, okay? Go fucking listen to Joel Kaplan. Go listen to fucking Jordan Platten, Charlie Morgan. These guys are what this guy wants to be. Not shitting on him.
Let's go. Stevie. I'm curious to see what he says about Stevie. Stevie's a little flexy sometimes. He's got the Lambo and stuff.
Smoke, I'm ready to give you those hands, okay?
Stevie's
everybody on this fucking list that has a problem with where I put them, I'm more than happy to lay down with you. More than happy. Let's fucking go. I'm all about the smoke, okay? That past me is gone. I like to stay. I haven't. The reason why I'm at 75K a month is because of most of these guys. It's not because of those in terms of, oh, I followed all their shit. I bought all the courses, because I didn't buy a single course. I did some free courses. I watched some videos, and that was enough for me to get to the stage that I'm at.
I need these guys.
And Max Pers's free
I've seen this guy before.
Goated. A little bit outdated right now, but just that video alone is enough for me to put him in that pro section. So I got a lot of respect for that guy. Just a normal dude, not trying to flaunt too much, and I like that. Okay, and a lot of people will have their opinions about Max Persons, but in my opinion, I would put him in pro just on that video alone. Okay, I wouldn't really care about any of his other videos, no offense, but in my opinion, that video alone is.
I haven't. Come back. There we go.
Him in that pro section. So I got a lot of respect for that guy. Just a normal dude, not trying to flaunt too much, and I like that. Okay, and a lot of people will have their opinions about Max Persons, but in my opinion, I would put him in pro just on that video alone. Okay, I wouldn't really care about any of his other videos, no offense, but in my opinion, that video alone is enough to get you on your way when it comes to start and go high level. It's Keaton too, you know. Watch both, in my opinion, but you only need one. Max Persons was the guy I went to. X Keaton's is the guy that most people go to, but for me, Max Persons, you get that pro thumbs up. Okay, so next in line is Montel Gordon. Same as Arturo Duarte and Matt Shields. Has some content out there. You know what? He actually has some decent content, I must say. He has very, very little. But he has some videos out there that I would say you should be watching. A lot of it is on branding. But when it comes to SMMA, it's very surface level shit. And in my opinion, when you start giving it surface level shit and not actually spreading, you know, the goods, giving that information, it comes off as gatekeeping. And in my opinion, when you're gatekeeping, you're not coming off as genuine, and you're just trying to take something from your viewer rather than just giving, and then getting something back in return when you actually ask. A lot of people are sly with it. And I think Montel Gordon, although he's not sly, he should probably tailor his content a little bit more to the viewer rather than for himself, because it's very clear he's doing it for his own benefit. But I must say there are a few videos out there that are actually quite beneficial when you watch him. Not saying he's fucking someone you should be looking up to, okay? If there's anyone that you should be looking up to, it's the fucking man on this list. And I haven't even fucking listed off that motherfucker just yet, but let's move forward. Pavel.
I'm very curious if he's going to talk about Stevie.
I think he's just that step above Montel Gordon, but he's in the list. His short form content bangs, okay? You know what? Fuck it. Montel Gordon, I'm sorry.
Adam, where do you think Stevie's going to land on this list?
Pavel is way better, and I watched a few of Pavel's videos, and his shit is pretty decent. His short form content is super valuable too, so I gotta give him that.
Now, I think if you put Hunter goated, you got
a lot of flexi, a lot of surface level shit at the same time, so I gotta put him in mid. But all in all, I like this dude a lot, especially when he talks about his Google reviews and the way he talks about go high level and actually finding clients. Big respect to him, because that is something that not many people give, and I have to fucking give respect where respect is due. Center stage.
Oh shit.
Fucking weenie. Built like a cheese string. Okay? Why are you watching this guy? This guy's a fucking dork. Okay? Same with Hens. Jared, nothing against you. You just stopped making YouTube videos. But these two guys are creme de la creme of just dog water. Okay?
Dog water.
Don't listen to those motherfuckers. They look like geeks, first of all.
Oh no.
Flexy this, flexy that. Motherfucker, you ain't flexing shit. Flex your muscles. You might burn someone's eyes if you do that. Okay, next in line. Ryan Mack.
Uh-oh. Another weenie.
I mean, bro, like all that, like he's just, I think it's like a Matt Shields wannabe. You know? And Matt Shields is just like his own self, but a lot of grab shit from other places, and I'm just like, nah, bro, just ain't it. Be yourself. I guarantee you people will like you way more if you're just yourself. And he just ain't acting himself. Okay? Serge Guattari. I don't like a lot of the stuff that he does in terms of when it comes to flexing, but you know what? I'm actually going to upgrade him into meh. Why? Because he does a lot of raw video uploads, and he does provide some content that is valuable. If he cut out that flexing bullshit, all that like blue pill or red pill talk, all that, thinking or that pompous behavior, 100% would be one of the best. But in my opinion, he's actually, no, bro, I gotta put it there. He's too pompous, too
downgraded,
greater than it all. When if you just fucking
dude's gotta be Stevie. Like if you actually know Stevie, he's one of the greatest dudes,
like
and he's an absolute
in my opinion,
savage.
Actually,
we had the same mentor.
Don't dislike anyone on this list. Not Sanders, just fucking losers. But I don't like anyone else on this list, or as much as I don't like anyone. Or the fuck am I saying? I don't hate anybody on this list as much as I like everybody on this list, okay? There's only 2 or 3 people on here that are questionable fucking weirdos, okay? And I already told you who they are. Everyone else, take this as a fucking piece of advice. Don't get fucking butthurt if you think, oh, I should be higher on the list. This is how I perceive you guys, okay? And I know for a fact a lot of other people that actually have their brains switched on will see you guys too, okay? All these 18, 16-year-old impressionable fucking dumb fucks that are watching you guys buying your course are the ones that actually like you. You want real men, real commendable fucking Spartans, guys that are in shape, respecting what you do, okay? And these guys aren't following the guys below the male line, okay? That's just how it is. That's just how it fucking is. You might get 1 or 2 the odd time.
I want to hang out with this dude. When we do our event in the UK, this guy has to come. I'm literally going to invite him.
That line. Okay? Thomas Garnett. Weenie. But he was the first one to kind of start. Actually, you know what? He's a fucking weenie, but he still has some shit out there that's like pretty valuable. And he kind of streamlined or started a huge trend for people to, start his agency or start their agency. And I must say, he was one of the first people that I watched that made me say, you know what? He's a bit of a nerd. He's a bit of a nerd, but I got to put him in mid. I got to put him in mid.
More tactical things.
He's a fucking nerd. I don't like all this flexy-mexy haberdashery bullshit that he does, but it's just fucking annoying because if he didn't have this fucking E-man guys you want to be behavior, he'd probably be
that's what he reminds me of. He does remind me a lot of Iman, just like how he carries himself. It's very like the stoic type personality.
I would love to see what he's like after spending like 2 or 3 weeks with him, just being me and him. I'd love to see how his behavior would change or how he'd actually act, because I know for a fact a lot of that bravado is false online. I don't see the person inside, deep in his core, when I look at his videos, that's really how he wants to act. And that's why he's mid. Okay, you know, yeah, he's mid. I gotta give it to you, Thomas. You definitely streamlined and started a huge trend at the end of 2022 for a lot of people to start an SMMA business. So you kind of have to give respect where respect is due, and he's one of those guys. I thought I was gonna rank him lower. I was looking at this list and I was looking at motherfucking, and I was like, man, Thomas Garnett, man, such a fucking geek. But at the same time, you gotta give some respect. Fix up your Instagram. Stop with the flex and get those big titty girls off your fucking vehicle and just take that off, man. Show some fucking respect for yourself. Get that shit off your Instagram, son. Renzo. Trash.
Oh, this is the
moving forward.
yeah.
Dylan Walsh.
Yeah, Renzo.
Man, beast. Beast. Gotta show some love to my homies as well on the Irish soil. Dylan, definitely one of the OGs. Knows how to make fucking money. Knows how to captivate an audience. Doesn't beat around the bush. Not a sugarcoater. Actually helps agency owners scale and actually shows them how to actually make money. Actually helps provide actually provides the information that he says he's going to provide. Gives a lot of free value. Doesn't really ask for much. Commendable. Nerd. Stevie G. What, are we talking about fucking Liverpool here? Stevie Johnston, I think, is the best
let's go,
on this
my
list.
boy.
Just overall everything. Now, I'm not meat riding these guys that are in GOAT, but these are the guys that you need to be fucking watching if you're fucking watching this video.
Facts.
Stevie Johnston, Hunter Saroy, It's Keaton. These should be on your top 3. You should be fucking watching every single video, getting your fucking pen and paper, going into your fucking nearest stationery office, grabbing 3 fucking hardback copies, writing out book for Hunter Saroy, book for It's Keaton, book for It's motherfucking Stevie Johnston. Okay, and you should be filling that all the way from the beginning all the way to the fucking end watching these guys. Because Stevie Johnston, when he talks, you fucking listen. Because that guy has scaled an agency almost to 10 mil a year. And he doesn't even fucking sell a course or anything like that. Yes, he low-key does, but that's not fucking plastered all over the fucking internet like some of these fucking dorks on this list. Fuck me, it pisses me off. Jesus Christ, I'm so fucking agitated when I think about some guys that plaster their social media and fucking post out courses, this, that, and this.
Why my chat's not loading?
Stevie Johnston, motherfucking G, making hella cash just off his fucking chiropractic agency. He's running a fucking legitimate company. Love watching his videos. I always tune in. Now, I don't watch everything. A lot of it is fluffy. A lot of it is lifestyle stuff. But the fucking videos that actually are valuable, those are fucking heat. Especially the calls he has with Hunter Saroy. Because that is just straight fire. Those guys are businessmen. Those guys know how to make money. Those guys will fucking change the game, okay? And I love the direction these two motherfuckers are getting. Why the fuck does Hunter have 2K subscribers? Why the fuck does Stevie J have 4.5K subscribers?
They just started.
These fucking weenies down at the bottom have 20K plus. Because the real motherfuckers are followed by people my age. And there isn't many people that are my age, 26 by the way, 26 to 30 by the way.
Damn.
There's not many of these guys watching YouTube videos.
32.
That's who are watching all these fucking weenie dorks. Fucking 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds on their fucking iPad that their mother bought them on their credit card. Oh, let me just follow these motherfuckers. I'm gonna buy their course. Let me just get their shit and get money. Get the fuck out of here, bitches. You should be fucking relating to the big guns here. All 8 of these motherfuckers. Beasts.
This guy's legendary. I love
Beasts. Those are the motherfucking to be watching. Ooh, can I say that word? It's an Irish thing. Dylan knows.
Irish thing.
Speaking of Dylan Wilson. Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about that one. Tony Lee. I'm gonna put him at mid.
I don't know these last 2 guys.
The reason why I put he's like a fucking Joel Copeland stand-up. I'm gonna put him at meh. But the reason why I was contemplating putting him on mid is because his personality. Dude is actually very genuine. He has a good personality. Genuine. You know what? I'm gonna put you and you, Dylan, in mid because you guys have a bit of a something going on when it comes to speaking. You're not just that fucking toned down, monotone, blue pill, red pill, whatever the fuck y'all like to say, Andrew Tate stands, okay? You guys are actually showing some behavior.
That's a tier list, Guru tier list. I think it's pretty solid, actually. I like that. That was funny. I might have to do that at some point in time because that shit was hilarious. All right, that was actually a really long video. That was like a 30-minute video, so I'm not gonna review this literal child. 16 SMMA owner. We'll do this next week. We'll do this one next week, guys. Instead of this week. So if that's cool with you guys, and then we can do our Agency Alchemy, and then we can pack it in for the day. I'm not gonna do answering cold DMs. I'm gonna let more cold DMs jump up. But we'll do some Agency Alchemy, leave you guys with a little masterclass, SOP storage, and wiki creation if that's what you guys are here for. Let me know in the chat. I don't know where my chat went. It literally has just disappeared. I think it's broken. So sorry about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with my chat. See, it's gone. See, it's just like loading over in the corner. I don't know what's going on with it. All right, guys. Last little piece, little Agency Alchemy for you guys. If you guys are curious on the next masterclass, this will be coming out. So the third masterclass on systemization will be coming out probably tomorrow or Friday. We'll have that out pretty soon. This one, it will be the following one. So if you guys have been following around along with that series, it's actually been a solid one. Hopefully I've been going in depth enough. That way, if our boy watches it, what is this dude's name? Gotta look at his name real fast. Forgot what this guy, I want to follow him on Instagram.
A good personality.
Um,
You know what?
Tariq's a goat. I love that Jordan Platten commented on this. I commented, I was like, hope I make the next one. I think Jordan is goated too, man. I mean, he does some crazy stuff that like I would never do. Like I would never make a YouTube video on like cold calling, right? And like cold calling people. There's no way. There's no way I would take the time to do that. That's just like so in depth. And it's just not something that I want to make make content on. That's funny. At Shield. I wonder if anyone else commented. I don't see Stevie or anyone else on here. Or Hunter. But I do love this video. It's very funny. Good job. Good job, Tariq. All right. But let's jump into Agency Alchemy, guys. A little SMA systemization. If you guys missed out on the last two, these are live on my channel right now. There's two other master classes. The third one will drop this week, and then this is the fourth one. So if you were here last week, this will make a ton of sense. If you weren't here last week, this will make 0 sense. But essentially, we've been going through the process of structuring systemization for your agency and what it looks like from an organizational level. Today, we're covering building the company wiki and then structuring your SOPs inside of that wiki. So kind of some of the rules for building a company wiki. One, make sure you use your current project management software. I know a lot of people like to segment this. I personally don't. I want this to fly as close as possible to my project management as it can. So you want these to live as close to where you're doing the most work, and where you should be doing the most work is inside your project management software, right? So, the day-to-day tasks, your onboarding, your offboardings, right? All of that happens inside your project management. So this should fly as close to your project management as possible. And so for me, I store everything inside of our project management. That way our team doesn't have to go to two separate places to see how a process or a playbook is actually run. Okay. Now, systemized businesses are worth more. So this is worth doing, guys. If you want to sell your business one day, if you want to exit, then this is where we have to get to, right? We have to build a systemized business. So if you're looking for an exit, make sure you actually do this. Don't just watch this and not apply it. Okay. And then remember, these wikis travel. So if you do exit your business one day, chances are you could take this wiki with you and have a solid foundation to build off of, like whatever you build next. Because a lot of these systems, that you're starting to store, that you're starting to put in place for your teams, you're going to use these in future businesses, whether an agency is the last stop or not. You can really carry a lot of this over into your next business. So worth pouring into, because this is an asset you'll use for years and years and years. Now, things that you're going to need your PM and your systems wiki to have. One, ability to attach media. We've talked a lot about like the Loom videos. You might want to structure photos or PDFs inside of here. You might also have some permission levels that you need to go through too. So permission levels will be important for that. Sometimes in different departments. So like say you have a sales department and you have a sales team. Maybe your sales team doesn't need to be in the know on your fulfillment process or like your media buyer, and you want to eliminate some of those permission levels. You can do that inside of there as well. So you want to make sure your PM and systems has permission levels. That way you can give visibility to your team that needs visibility on certain SOPs. Task and subtask creation, that'll just be very helpful, which every project management has this or should have this. If it doesn't, you should probably get rid of it. and then task description as well. So you should be able to open up that specific task, add a description inside. That's where we're going to store a lot of the SOP, and then template duplication abilities. So that way we can duplicate things easily, add automations in for duplication as well. So when we go to structure our wiki, we use ClickUp for this. Sorry, these screenshots are a little blurry for some reason. But we structure our wiki from a space level, and then we go into individual lists. So for this, rule of 5 for agencies, normally marketing, sales, fulfillment, HR, finance. Those are going to be your 5 main lanes. We've talked about that quite a few times. But at the space level, you're going to hold 5 lists inside of there. Now, if you want to organize this with more lists or more departments because you call them something different, totally fine. Create whatever list. But the template that I'll give you guys today will have the list level on there. Okay. Now, on the list level, a couple things here. And what the heck? Why did this black out? What happened? I don't know why that happened. Okay. So a couple things to note here. Table view is active. Okay. I like the table view versus the list view or any other view that ClickUp has, just from a standpoint of organization and having things condensed. If you use the list view, things are a little less condensed. If you're using like the Kanban view, it looks very bad. If you use a Kanban view, I just don't like it. Sorry, I'm changing the opacity on these real fast because for some reason, when I carried them over from where I built this originally, it did not transfer correctly. So, which will happen. But anyway, so table view, very effective on here. It's what I like to view our SOPs through and just see everything from a high level. Okay. Now, the columns that you'll need, and once again, the template already has this. I'm just explaining it to you. You'll need the task name in here. So like for your playbooks or your specific SOPs, your task name will either be the playbook. So maybe you have like a media buying playbook, a retention playbook, something along those lines that you want to put in here for your team to have access to. Great. You can put those inside of here as well. It doesn't just have to be SOPs. For SOP naming convention, normally this is like a how-to naming convention. So how to onboard a new client, how to set up a new campaign for X client, right? These are the how-tos, and generally a good naming convention is using how-to and then whatever that SOP is for. Okay. Now on the status side, either the playbook or SOP name, or I'm sorry, on the SOP side, it's going to be the status. So ready to use. I think inside of the statuses we have out of date as well. So like if you've had an SOP that's been used for a while, it needs to be updated. You know it needs to be updated. You can put it out of date. That way someone can circle back around to it, revamp it. Or if you have like a list of SOPs that you need to do, you can start putting a list here, and there's a to-do status as well for you. Okay. The date updated is an automated list. So this just changes anytime changes are made to the book or to the SOP or the playbook. So if you guys come in here, do a change to it, it will update that automatically anytime you make a change. That way you know which SOPs are out of date. Like you might have an SOP in here that is 3 years old and it needs to be updated at some point. Okay. Created by, this is an automatic field as well. That way you know who created this SOP. So if it is out of date, you can go to that person and be like, hey, we need to update this SOP. And then lastly, tags. Okay. For tags, this is just search function. Okay. So we put tags inside of here, creative brand playbook. Okay. That's going to help us in our search view, because here's the thing is when you guys develop all of these SOPs, you need to be able to filter accordingly so your team can find them a little bit easier. So put these tags in here, and tags are just kind of like, think about like how you would search for something like this. So, something that is in the creative side, because here's the thing is like for our brand book, color schemes, and I'll show you what our brand book looks like here in a second, but color schemes, you might have it as a playbook. It's in the creative department. So with that, that might be some of the tags that you put on there. Okay. Just going to help you identify the SOP. Okay. Now with this, how to onboard a new Phoenix client. Okay. This was one of the SOPs that we stood up. This is what it might look like when we open up one of the tasks. Okay. And I showed you guys this last week, so we won't dive in too deep, but just a reminder of that's what it might look like. And then on the permission level side, this is really important as well, is if you guys need to change permissions, you need to click on this little hamburger menu, which is kind of blocked by the screenshot, but you could change the permissions based off of who needs access to this. So if certain people on your team don't need access to the marketing side, then you can eliminate their ability to see it. So just know you can keep people out of certain lists if needed, and you can segment them by their position. So that's pretty much it. If you guys want this template, let me drop it in the chat for you guys. If chat will even work. I don't know if it'll work. If not, I'll post it inside of the video for you guys. Whoop. Yeah, see, my chat's not working for some reason. So I apologize, guys. The chat is not working. I wish it was. I wish it was. But if you need that template, just DM me. I don't think there's a whole lot of people here. So just DM me and I'll send it to you. And you guys can get it. But this is kind of what it looks like when you're inside. And let me zoom in a little bit. Might be a little bit easier to see. So this is what it would look like on the inside. Okay, so Company Wiki 2.0, this is at the space level view. So you can actually see all of your SOPs or whatever you have access to from this top level view. So this is the nice thing about doing the space level view. And then we have the table view pinned and as the default. But if we open up one of these, right? So like say we open up the Hydra brand book. Yeah, this is a playbook. Okay, we have it linked in here because it's technically located in a different spot inside of our creative, folder. And so for this, I can click on this and I can open up the brand book in the position that it was in. So what's kind of nice about this is we have the different, logos and creative assets in here. So if our team needs access to these, they can quickly go and grab them and download them directly from here. And they can see which ones are which. Okay. We have the color palette inside of here. So like these are our brand colors. Obviously we use a lot of black and white as well. Fonts, if they need fonts, tone and language, they want to know our tone and language, all that good stuff. So a lot of stuff inside the brand book, which is kind of nice. Okay. Now, when it goes into the individual lists, okay, we have marketing, sales, fulfillment. Okay, this is where you can do your permission. So if you click this list setting, you do sharing and permissions, you can segment by what you want your team to see. So you can do that based off of the list that you're in if you need to eliminate permissions from somebody. Okay, but you can see that the brand book is under marketing. Okay, under sales, how to onboard a new Phoenix client. If we open this up, okay, here's our whole system on how to do this. Now, next week I'll show a little bit of like, hey, tying this into your day to day versus just having these like in a folder, because we do want easy access to this, but we need a place to store everything, and then from there we can utilize it and share it into the actual process itself. So chances are this isn't going to be like the end spot. Like your team's probably not going to come to this. Like we want to integrate some of our SOPs directly into the workflow. And so for us, like I'll show you how we do that next week, but this is the general position of like, this is where we need to put things. Okay. And so you can start building out this list and add a bunch of new tasks inside of here. Statuses in progress. So like to do things that you want to do, you can put them in progress, needs review. So if you have a teammate that is going to create SOPs for you, you can put it into needs review. And then if they send it to you and they need revisions, you can put it into revisions, and then you can give it the green light ready to use. Okay, you have the tags in there, last updated, created by. Relatively easy. And then you just do this for each lane of your agency. Okay. And if you guys remember from some of the last episodes, you should have a huge list of SOPs that need to be built based off of these specific lanes. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's pretty much it for our Agency Alchemy today. Relatively simple. I wish I could see chat right now. I literally can't. So I don't know what you guys are saying. I apologize. If there's questions, I don't know how to get to them, unfortunately. I apologize. So we might just have to end it there. I don't know why my chat's not working. That's like one of the more annoying things. This has never happened before. Just not showing up. Let me try and bring it back. Yeah, I'm just getting the spinning wheel of death for some reason. Anyway, you guys, that's it for agency therapy today. I would answer questions, but literally this is not working. But got a solid hour and 45 in today on the stream. I appreciate you guys coming along and chilling out. There's a decent amount of people here from YouTube and Twitter, and one person watching from Twitch for some reason. It's like, why are you watching on Twitch? I wonder if there's anyone on LinkedIn as well. I'm sure there's a couple. We're streaming all over the place. Let's see. Read. What's up, dude? I don't know if Nicholas Reed's here. What up, if you are here? And Hal? Is Hal in here? What up, Hal? All right, crew. We'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the rest of the week. Hopefully you got some entertainment and good knowledge from